No sound. Can you hear me now? Man, we've been going this whole time with no sound. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me? Just drop a thing. Let me know if you can hear me. I didn't realize this was an issue. Tell me, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Am I coming in loud and clearly? Man, we've been having a good old show too. Oh well. I guess we'll have to do the show again later. Do a different part. I don't know. Well, let's continue with what we got. I hope you guys can hear me now. I don't know what was up with that, why we didn't have any sound. I can hear me. Let me know if you guys can hear me out there. Dang. All right. Anyway, let's get back into it. So, I believe we didn't have any sound that whole time. All right, can you hear me? I see you out there. Just drop a comment. Tell me if you can hear me. Yeah, that's crazy. Huh. I don't know what was up with that. All right. Well, anyway, I don't want us to get like double feedback. All right, so let's jump back into it. If anybody has any issues or anything like that, let me know with the hearing. I think we're good on the radio, but I think online we were out. All right, anyway, we got to do the next part anyway. So we are here in your ear having the conversation that you need to hear on WRFZ 106.3 Rochester Free Radio. Thank you guys for tuning in. You tuned into The Divide with Marcus C. Williams. We are going to get back into the show in a minute. We've already covered some topics which apparently we were on mute for. But we're just going to figure that out and we're going to move forward from there. I hope everybody can hear me out there because I think we've got double volumes now. All right, but we're going to work through it with me. Okay, people? That does mean that I probably won't be able to pop up your stuff on the screen, though. So, anyway. Now, as we have these conversations about what's going on in the world and in Rochester, I'd like to touch back on what we were talking about before, where we were talking about how what's going on in England is very serious. We've got the guy out there who's actually causing all these problems in the... I'm sorry, you guys got to excuse me. I'm really still trying to work on this sound and it's giving me some problems here. Let's see. I don't understand why it's doing that. All right, forget it. All right, so I won't be able to pop up your comments, but that'll be fine. So anyway, we're going to jump back into this. I hope that all the sound is working. If it's not, you guys can just pop a comment up, let me know. So as we have these conversations, the important conversations that are going on in the world, what do we have that's happening? Well, let's start with England. England has a prime minister that was just booted out of office. Well, he stepped down, he resigned. And this was like the day after President Trump put online, Keir Starmer is going to resign, he's going to step down from being the prime minister in England. And you say, well, Trump knew. And just the next day, right after he stepped down, Trump just had the news and he was like, I can't be more elated. I got to get this news out there. And it's kind of funny. And when I say it's kind of funny, I mean, it's really funny because Keir Starmer has been over there and he's been the head of the Labour Party over there and he's been tearing stuff up. Like, people don't like him. Like, people really don't like him. People in his own party don't like him. The community doesn't like him because he's been doing all types of crazy stuff. Now, if we jump into some of the stuff that he's done recently, like he was talking about just a couple months ago that he's going to put in place digital IDs, and the digital IDs, you won't be able to work unless you have a digital ID. Also, your digital ID will have all your banking information on it, so you won't be able to bank unless you have a digital ID. Also, that's where your Shoppers Club card and everything is going to go. So if you've got points from the gas station or whatever, that's going to go on your digital ID too. It's going to be great, easy, and convenient for everybody, except it's going to be a tight choker leash on your neck from the British government. And he said, we're going to make sure that it gets done in this session of Parliament. So this is just one of the many insane things that he's been working on putting on out there over there in England. And we have to be really attentive to what's going on in England, because what's going on in England is going on in other parts of the world. It's just going to happen in another Western nation, and then it's going to come over here to America. If we're not aware of what's going on in England right now, we've got stuff like all of the mass migration that's been going on in England. We've got all these illegal aliens that are going into England. I mean, it's so bad over there over the last couple of years. It's become so diverse. I'm using air quotes if you can't hear me, if you can't see me on the radio. It's crazy that now even places like Whitechapel or Whitehall and stuff like that, they're having signs, and whole parts of the city and town are in other languages, foreign languages. So they've got an influx of people from Pakistan, an influx of people from India, an influx of people from Africa, and all of these other foreigners that are coming there that are going there illegally, and they're just being let in. Well, something nice about that, but not good for England, is the European Union has now voted just last week. They voted to make stricter regulations on immigration into the European Union. And now they can actually start deporting people, which I thought was amazing. That was awesome. Now they can deport people from Europe. Good for them. Definitely needed. But back to England, right? So during Keir Starmer's time, they've done a number of things. But also we have to look at different makeups of very big cities and what's going on in the big cities in England, because what happens there happens here. So you've got that dude Khan, his name is Khan, Khan, okay? That is the head of the city of London, right? Like, he's the mayor, right? Like, so I don't know where he's from. India, Bangladesh, I don't know, maybe Pakistan. I don't know where his people is from. But foreign, right? Muslim. So he's out there and he's trying to change all of these laws in the city and do all types of crazy stuff. And they put in this one law, it's called ULUTs, right? Ultra low emission zones, okay? Ultra low emission zones. Go look it up. It's important. So in the ultra low emission zones, which are generally reserved for the really ritzy ditzy high class neighborhoods, okay, and the business district, again, with the high class people, okay, they don't want everyday people in there, so they're charging fees and tolls to get into those areas, whereas it shouldn't be. But the whole purpose is because they don't want you there, because you're the poors. We got to keep the poors out. That's what we don't want. We don't want the poor people in. That's a problem. That's a serious problem, because what the whole thing is about is it's about limitation of freedom of mobility. It's not got anything to do with anything else but that. And it's a form of control, and people need to wake up to that. And you might be like, Marcus, well, how is that even important or relevant to the United States? Well, look at what happened over there, and then look at what happened here in New York State with so-called congestion pricing. All congestion pricing was a rebrand of ultra-low emission zones. Now, what was the point of ultra-low emission zones originally? Well, it was this green nonsense that they were pitching that, oh, it's for the environment, it's for the environment. No, they just didn't want the people in the working class and in poverty to be able to be where they are, and they wanted to limit their ability to travel there freely. It had nothing to do with the environment. They don't care about the environment, not really. You understand? You got to put your thinking cap on and really listen to what's going on. So then we've got these other places where you've got it where in New York City, they call it congestion pricing, right? So you can't go into the nice ritzy business districts and the highbrow areas unless you pay an extra fee to go into those areas. So who does that hurt? The guy that's got a little small mobile coffee business, coffee cart, the guy that's out there selling hot dogs and bagels early in the morning, you know, the people that have to take deliveries into that part of the city. Like, who is it hurting? Like, they don't care. These people don't care. These people that are in power are nothing more than globalists, elitists that want to do everything they can to claw back more and more of your individual freedoms, your individual liberties. And you got to pay attention to what's going on because it's ever so serious, ever so serious. Now, as we talk about Keir Starmer, he's about to get replaced most likely by this one guy. I forget his name right now, but the other guy is trash. He's just as bad as Keir Starmer. Actually, he's worse, probably because he's more far left. And this is a serious issue because what people don't understand is that one of the big issues with Keir Starmer is the people that are in labor, the Labor Party, which is their leftist people over there. They were saying that he's not left enough, that he's not far left enough. Well, he's put in all of these crazy things. And this new guy who looks like it's going to be him, Andy Burnham is even more far left than he is. So it's going to get real thick and real crazy over there real quick. Pray for England, y'all, but pray for us because what happens in England has international ramifications. So we need to be very attentive to that. Now, I want to talk back about a second about that push for the digital ID. Now, you guys, as well as I know, that just because Keir Starmer's out of there doesn't mean that that digital ID is dead. Okay, and we need to be very attentive to what's going on over there because they're already pushing it over here. In New York State and California, they already have a digital ID. You didn't know that? Go look it up. Okay, and they're saying right now it's just for convenience. It's just for convenience. It's just for convenience until it's mandatory. And we're going to get into some of the state's laws in a little bit. Hopefully we have enough time to cover everything. I think we lost audio in the beginning of our show. So we'll get into it, but hit the like button, hit the share button. It don't cost you nothing. Definitely drop a comment because we need all the comments and all the shares we can get since we lost audio in the beginning of the show. So make sure you do that. Now, let's talk about some stuff here locally before we jump back out into the rest of the world. We can talk about what's happening locally in Rochester right now. Over the last 72 hours, we've had multiple murders, right? Multiple murders. But on top of the multiple murders, multiple of them were stabbings. There were stabbings, there were shootings. We had one guy last night, just this morning, in a stabbing attack. He got his hand stabbed off. Marcus, he got his hand stabbed off? That's what the news said. The news said he got his hand stabbed off. I said, what were they stabbing that man with? A broadsword? They were stabbing him with a katana? Like, what are we doing here? He's getting stabbed by a machete? Even if you have a real big knife, right? Like you stab somebody, how many times you got to stab somebody to sever a hand completely? There's a lot of stabbing, you know, and a lot of accurate stabbing. Like, that's crazy. So that's kind of concerning because what we're seeing is we're seeing all of these different types of crimes going on in Rochester while our mayor is saying, you know, well, everything's fine. Crime is down. Murder is down. Okay, murder is down. But you got to ask from what level is the murder down? Now, the murders are down from the all-time super ultra crazy high that started off during COVID when everybody was out of work, when everybody couldn't go to school, when everybody was out at home, when everybody was locked all into their houses, right? Like couldn't go anywhere, couldn't get anything. Everything was chaos, right? That's when the crime skyrocketed super high. But remember, before that, our crime was already at an all-time high. Now you got to ask yourself why, because what was happening leading up to that was they pushed all of this anti-police, hate the police nonsense where they pushed to defund the police. They took $5 million from the police. So that when they say here that they never defunded the police, they are a bold-faced lie. Okay, that absolutely did happen. And then they gave it to the Police Accountability Board, which I thought was even more ridiculous, which the government ended up saying that that was illegal to begin with, that they couldn't do that. But we already knew that. We already knew that. That wasn't new news to us. But when we have real conversations about that, people get really upset and they don't want to talk about that because, you know, it hurts and offends their pride. And that's another thing. It's supposed to be men's mental health month. Well, you can't have men's mental health month without all these psychotic people running around talking about be proud and be gay and be alphabet soup and all of this nonsense. You know, it's crazy because you got to really ask yourself, did all of the lesbians and all of the gay people foresee all of this nonsense where now even they're being erased during Pride Month? Like, they've got all of these crazy people running out there, debauchery, peeing in people's mouths during pride parades and stuff like that, men naked, you know, schlong out and all of that and all of this, women out with their breasts and they're out there committing sexual acts in public and stuff like that. Did the people that were originally pushing for this foresee this? You know, like, is that okay? But it's gotten even worse than that, right? It's gotten even worse than that because now they're trying to erase the gays and the lesbians too, and the bisexuals. Because what they're saying is they're saying that there's no more gay, there's no more lesbian, everybody is trans, everybody is trans. So it's kind of interesting because the whole point in somebody being gay, homosexual, means that they like this person of the same sex, right? But these people are telling you, oh, there are no sexes, there's gender fluid and there's non-binary. And if you're a boy, you can be a girl. And if you're a girl, you can be a boy. And I do whatever I want because, again, it all goes back to being prideful, right? Like, you know better than science, you know better than God, you know better than nature, you know better than everybody else. And you want to force us to participate in your psychosis. Well, guess what? I'm not participating in your psychosis, your nonsense. I'm not participating in your pronouns. You can take them and you can shove them up your nose hole. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. This is a very serious situation. Very serious. So now the alphabet people are erasing the gays and the lesbians. And I can't wait till more gays and lesbians start to wake up. A lot of them are waking up now and they're starting to push back. But now even they're being sicked on by all types of these cuckoo crazies because they're like, well, we want to be able to be our own gender that we actually are. They're like, no, you can't do that. You gotta admit that this is right because we said so, or we're going to cancel you. And this is crazy, right? Because the whole movement was supposed to be started by them, right? How did they start off? Oh, we just want civil unions. And then it wasn't civil unions. It was, oh, we just want to get married. Well, but you already got the civil unions we want. Well, we want more. We want to get married now. Okay, well, now you can get married. Oh, well, we want a parade every year and we want all of these different days and all these different holidays. And okay, well, I guess you can have those. Oh, well, we want to have all of these big, huge parades where we're out there in the street doing debauchery and depravity and promoting evil. And then we want to also read stories to kids in drag, dressed up, looking like we're demons and all types of nonsense. Well, how did they get from all they wanted was civil unions to all the way down there? And then after that, like, if the cliff wasn't bad or you were right at the edge of the cliff, they went completely off the cliff. Now they're talking about, oh, well, you know, a boy doesn't have to be a boy and a girl doesn't have to be a girl. What level of affront to God and nature is this? And is this what the people originally envisioned was going to happen? No, it probably wasn't. And a lot of people that I know that are homosexual don't like this. They don't like what's going on now. But if they talk about it, they get shunned. They get silenced. They get told to shut up because, you know, you can't talk about any of those things. You can't talk about it. If you don't like it, you better not say anything. You better shut up your mouth. You better shut up your mouth. That's what they feel like. And this is where we are. But, you know, it's also Men's Mental Health Month. You know, what better a month to have pride in than Men's Mental Health Month? You know, and then in Rochester, we get 2 Pride Months, this month and next month, because they're just so greedy. They got to have everything. Nobody else can have anything. It's so disrespectful. It's crazy. Hit the like button, hit the share button. It don't cost you nothing. Get this out there and make sure that you're sharing. What is wrong with, is the video out now? I don't know what's going on. I hope everything's streaming well. But yeah, so these people out here, hit that like button, hit the share button. Let me know at least that you can hear and see me. So as we have these conversations with what's going on and we see what's happening with our society is continuing on a downturn, you want to talk about real mental health? Stop telling people that there's something that they're not. You understand what I'm saying? Don't tell a child that they're a dog like they're not a dog. Don't tell the little girl that she's a parrot, she's not a parrot. Okay, Zer, them, thee, they, do, all of that. That's nonsense. That's what we're not doing. That's what we're not doing. But as we talk about that, we need to talk about other stuff. I want to get back into this guy that got his hand stabbed off. Like, again, this goes back to the crime that people are saying isn't happening because all they do is lie. The government lies. The government tells you, oh, something's good for you. You better run for the hills because it's always a lie. Almost every time, 99.9999999% of the time, the government tells you something's good for you. It is a lie. Okay. It's almost always the opposite. But all of this nonsense that we talked about, the Kiristama, the digital ID, the ultra low emission zones, the congestion pricing, the limitation of freedom of mobility, the digital ID with the digital currency, you know, all of this stuff, all it is the push by the global elites to tighten the noose around your neck so that they can have more control over you. Oh, you want to shop here? Nope, beep, beep, you can't shop there. We've got your card and we've got your ID and you can't shop there. We don't want you to shop there. What's coming next? Carbon scores, right? Carbon credit scores. That's coming. It's already in Canada. It's going to happen here next. Okay. Thank God for Trump. Like y'all, a lot of people be like, oh, I hate him. I hate him. I don't. You know why I don't? Because I've seen what was happening already and he's pulling back some of that stuff. Not as much as I would like, but he's doing his best to pull back what he can. But there's a lot of stuff that he's doing also that's continuing to push us forward. Sometimes I think, you know, well, maybe he doesn't know what's going on. But the fact of the matter is, like I said about Kiristama over there in England pushing the digital ID, you think because he's out that the digital ID ain't still going to get pushed through? It's the same thing with Trump over here. He can do whatever he wants to try to stop some of these things, but he can only do so much. And then he doesn't know everything, right? Like he knows what he knows, right? So he's only going to know about the things that he knows about. Everything else that he is saying is going to be from somebody that told him something. Right? We saw a lot of people give him a lot of bad advice during the first administration. I'm seeing them get bad advice right now from these Palantir people that are these technocrats like JD Vance, can't stand him. Vivek Ramaswamy, same camp. Okay. All of these people, man. All of these people, these technocrats, the Palantir, the PayPal mafia, what's his name? Elon Musk, what's the other guy's name? Oh, I can see him. Ah, man, the guy from Palantir, and a number of other people that are, there's the PayPal mafia and the Palantir mafia. Go look it up. You'll find all of those crazy characters there. Okay. And don't forget Larry Ellison and his nonsense, who's also a member of the PayPal mafia, but also owns Oracle. Okay. Like these are real serious conversations that need to be had, but are not being had. Hit that like button, hit the share button. It doesn't cost you nothing. Help me get the message out there. These are the important conversations that we need to be having. Okay. So as we have these conversations, there's a number of things that we have to understand and we have to remember. If we don't talk about it, nobody's gonna. Nobody's gonna. And a lot of this stuff is about connecting the dots. You know, a lot of people say, oh, well, this is a conspiracy. That's a conspiracy. How many of the conspiracies have been proven right? Explain it to me like I'm 5. Make it make sense. Almost all of the conspiracies that have come up have all been right. So what are we going to do? What are we going to talk about? We're going to do something about that? Probably not, because people don't want to get active. One thing that's important is the elections and the election integrity. A lot of people like to say, oh, well, the elections are rigged, their elections are bad, their elections are this, their elections are that. Do you go and go vote? Do you go and become a poll site worker? Do you go and be a site chair or a election day technician? No, they don't. They get online, they pitch a fit, and they don't actually get out and do anything. They won't even be a poll watcher. You know, like what are we doing? What are we doing? You complain on the internet that the elections have all these issues. What are you doing to look into it? You understand? You're not over there. You're not participating. Right now, I encourage every Republican watching this year in November, okay, make sure that you get signed up early to be a election worker, whether it's a election worker or a site chair or whatever. Sign up with your local board of elections, okay, in your county. Sign up. Be sure to sign up. Don't forget. This is extremely serious. I'm out here in Rochester, in New York, in Monroe County, in a state that's all Democrat, in a county that's run by the Democrats, in a city that's been run by the Democrats for 54 years, and who all's in all the seats? Democrats. Now the Democrats have a primary and they're fighting tooth and nail against each other, doing things that are very sordid. So if they do that to each other, what do you think they're going to do to us? So that's why you need to get out and go be an election inspector, go be a poll worker, get out there. Like, stop pitching a fit online. Oh, the elections are bad. Go be part of the solution. No, that's too much like right. Go do it. Do it. Sign up. Do it. It's one day. Yeah, it might be a little long, 17, 18 hours, but go do it anyway. It's your civic duty and they're going to pay you to do it. Go do it. So, but what's more than that, and I think this is more concerning to me, those same people that pitch a fit about the elections, do they help candidates? No. Do they donate to candidates? No. And they do the bare minimum, if anything at all. Some of them don't even share or comment on posts. Like, what are we doing here? Like, you want the enemy to win? Like, you just going to give them all up everything? Like, oh, well, they already have everything. Well, then you're weak and defeatist. Why don't you go find a bridge? You know what I'm saying? Take a short walk. What are we doing? What are we doing here? Like, if you just want to give up everything, go ahead. But I'm here to fight. I'm here to stand. I'm here to press forward. I'm here to make the little bit of difference in a lot of bit of change, whatever I can do in this world while I am here. What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't complain about the elections. Go run for election. Don't complain about the elections. Go work the elections. Don't complain about the elections. Go get a job at the Board of Elections. Don't complain about the elections. Go become a chair of a committee. You understand what I'm saying? Like, all of these options to really start to make a difference, to try to push the needle a little bit, nobody wants to do because it's more important to them that they pitch a fit online. That's why you got to get active, because we got to make a difference, because there are so many crises all across our nation right now that we don't even have enough time to talk about it. I look at it right now where we had a police officer who was stabbed multiple times. This was some years ago. Stabbed multiple times. And he's been fighting the city, and they denied him his pension and his health and all types of other stuff. But he just finally won a $1.25 million settlement. His name is Officer Denny Wright. Shout out to you, Denny. Okay. But this is a very serious problem. Right? Like, they pay all these crazy cuckoos that are like, oh, the police were mean to me. Okay. Oh, no, they called me a mean name. Lawsuit. And the city's like, pay. Stop paying these crazy kooks my money. Our tax money. That money should be going to children. Okay. To fix the freaking parks that are all jacked up. Okay. Well, there's a park not too far from me. It's got these, what do you call them? The nets for soccer? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. It's got some poles for soccer. It don't got no nets. And these are the conversations. And what is going on here? Like, what are we spending money on as a city? We need to be more, I don't know what the word is, but prudent is definitely a good word to start off with. And we also, when we talk about failures of government, especially on the local and state level, we get into stuff like energy, right? We got RG&E up here, which is part of what do you call it? NYSAG. If you guys are familiar with NYSAG, it's all sorted and weird, and don't even get me started on them, right? But they just had a whole bunch of people that were out of power in the county, like 25,000 people. There's a lot of people with no power. That's a lot of people. And this isn't the first time, right? Like, it seems like all the time, all of the electricity keeps going out more and more and more and more. Well, we've got an old infrastructure. And they're upgrading what they can, I guess, but it's expensive to upgrade all of this stuff, And the fact of the matter is that there's not a lot of consistency there. So the state sued them, right, for not having the required nonsense or whatever. We'll talk about that in a second. But before that, I want to talk about how the state is the problem. Right? Like, the state has done everything they can to stomp on the throat of energy generation in New York State. Okay. There's just a plant in Newburgh, a gas plant that's shutting down. They're filing for bankruptcy. Well, you might ask, Marcus, how could a gas plant be filing for bankruptcy when the gas prices for natural gas keep going up? Isn't that a good question? That's a very good question. That doesn't make much sense. That math ain't mathing, right? So you look at it And you find out, well, the New York State has been doing everything they can to kill the natural gas industry. They've shuttered drilling. They've stopped new natural gas exploration. They've made it so that you can't build any pipelines. We had the guy from the EPA, Lee Zeldin, the director of the EPA, came down here the other day yelling at New York State, talking about, what are you guys doing to kill the gas industry? You want to know why the prices are so high? Because you keep killing natural gas generation. And just to let you guys know out there, if you don't know, in New York State, we generate between 52 to 57% of our electricity is generated by natural gas. So that's why that's so important. Hear me now, 52 to 57% of our electricity in New York State is generated by natural gas. So what are we talking about even? Why would you shut that down? You don't have anything to offset it. Why would you do that? Why would you cause these problems and it's not necessary? Why wouldn't you build out all of these fanciful solar panels and wind turbines and nonsense that you're trying to do that don't hardly generate no type of energy and aren't very longevitous? They last like 5-10 years, and you got to replace the whole thing for another millions of dollars, and they never make the payback for what their cost was in the beginning. And they destroy the environment, and they have to take up so many acres. It's ridiculous. Like, can we have that conversation? Probably not, because it's too much like right. But if you guys want to look up a bill, let me give you this bill to look up. Check this out. Senate Bill S04571B. That's Senate Bill S04571B. Okay. Now, this bill is for them to blanket our whole waterways in New York State, not just the lakes, the canals and the reservoirs and anywhere else there's water, with solar panels. So some people were up there like, oh, they're going to put solar panels on the lakes. Not just the lakes, the canals and the rivers and anywhere else there's water. Your home pool. No, not your home pool, but seriously, your home pool. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's nonsense. It's nonsense what's being done. Nonsense on top of nonsense. That's what we're facing in our state right now, dealing with the state and energy generation. They're doing everything to kill off our long-term, reliable, sustainable energy generation to try to push this so-called green agenda, which isn't even green because it's bad for the environment. That's just a faulty label that they've actually put on it. The sourcing for the materials that go into the solar panels and the windmills, they're all dirty, super dirty. Some of the dirtiest things that you can get. They got little kids in cobalt mines, in, what do you call it, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, in these little teeny holes. Go look at the videos online. In these little teeny holes digging. You know, what do they say? The kids yearn for their mines? No, they don't. But they're basically, that's the only way that they can pay for anything where they live. Because that's what the economy is. And they're paying them pennies. Pennies. Not even pennies on the dollar. Like, if they, pennies on a dollar would be a raise compared to what they're getting paid in the terrible cloistered conditions that they're in. And like, you think of like a tunnel rat from Vietnam, it's worse than that. That's the conditions. So you can have your solar panels. Is this what we're doing? Right? We're not sourcing it from America either. So we're giving China a leg up because China makes most of the solar panels and the wind turbines. So now how much does it cost us to get that in diesel across the ocean to come over here? You know, like, it's all nonsense. The whole supply chain for all of this so-called clean energy, you know, it's all dirty, super dirty. You know, so it's a scam. It's a scam. It's very misleading. And I'm a big environmental conservationist. So don't let these people play in your face. Like, it's real. Now, then we get into other crazy, stupid stuff. There's a thing here locally. We got a group. They kind of lean pretty left, but they're called the Rochester Beacon. So I want to give a shout out to them today for an article that they published with the analytical data around charter schools here locally and how they're vastly superior as far as the academic outcome compared to the regular RCSD. Even though the RCSD is the second biggest budget in the nation and the lowest performance in the nation, which is really, really crazy. So I'm glad that they talked about that, but what's going to happen about that? Nothing. There's people that are the teachers unions, the school district, they're all fighting against the charter schools and stuff so that the charter schools get less and less money, because the charter schools already get less money and they do more with less. And they don't like that because it makes them look bad. Well, they're really about to look bad now. Wait till more people read this article. Then you got the fact that the state's trash too. The state board of education is garbage also. Now they're getting rid of the regents exams from qualifying you to have a diploma. No more AP diplomas. Those are gone. Those are out the window. Okay. They're probably going to get rid of international baccalaureate diplomas too, coming soon. They're slowly phasing those out too. But they're getting rid of the regents diplomas. Those are going to be gone. They're going to replace them with, they say this is what they say. I'm just telling you what they say. They're going to replace them with portfolios and service projects and other acumen-based understanding. Whatever the heavens that means. You understand what I'm saying? Now, it's crazy because that's subjective, right? Like there's no real tangibles to that. You can't put a thing on it and say that or whatever the case is. Now, here's the deal, and this is interesting because they're still going to have to do like some sort of standardized testing. Like the regents, they still might keep the regents. I'm using air quotes if you're on the radio. They still might have to keep the regents because it's required by the federal government. I believe it's the Every Student Succeeds or Every Student Achieves program, whatever that's called. That's a federal regulation. So there must be standardized testing. So this whole thing is a sham. It's a sham. It's a sham. I'm not big on standardized testing, but what they're doing, I already know not to trust them because I've seen what they've done already. You'd be a fool to trust them and be like, oh, yeah, this is a good thing because they're selling it to us as a good thing. The lies. You know, that's what they do. They lie. Then we go back to the state. Let's hit the state back in Albany real quick because they're trash too. Okay. And people are like, well, Marcus, why do you call them trash? Why do I call them trash? Well, let me tell you about Assembly Bill A10540. That is Assembly Bill. Go look this up because I can't make this stuff up, y'all. New York State Assembly Bill A10540. Okay. Now, the governor just signed this in to law on June 5th. Okay. I believe it's as chapter 123. Okay. Now, this is crazy because I'm going to have to talk to some of my Republican representatives because somebody's going to have to explain this nonsense to me and how the Republicans voted for this too, because it sounds crazy to me. Just on its face, it sounds crazy. Now, a little background, you guys. New York State has a law that was a law. It was A416. Go look that crazy nonsense up. It's internment camps, okay? They were trying to push that during COVID so they could just snatch people out of their house like they did in Australia and New Zealand. Go look that crazy nonsense up. Go look it up because I don't have time to explain to you the way I would like to. But in the original lettering and writing in A416, it said, if you may have possibly come in contact with somebody that could possibly be considered, yeah, all of those words phrased just like that, that may have possibly been considered a possible threat to public health, that you are to be quarantined and you can't get a lawyer. And if they so decide, they might decide to give you a lawyer after 7 days, but there's nothing that requires them to do that. Now, that got fought. That got beat it got beat out of the assembly. So when it got beat out, the governor tried to put it back in under Health and Human Services regulations. And then we fought that, got it taken out, and then she appealed it and she got it won at the Supreme Court. You know what the Supreme Court said? And it's the state Supreme Court. You know what the state Supreme Court said? Well, nobody's been hurt yet, so nobody has a grounds to file a lawsuit against this. It's insane. It's insane. So basically, they just made it so that the governor can lock anybody up when they want to. And the craziest thing about that is the people that decide on if anybody stays in there or not are not even elected officials. They're nominated and put in place by the governor. What type of tyranny are you talking about? So talking about tyranny, let's get back to Bill A10540. I had to give you that precursor to that because this is crazy. So then you'll see how they connect together. So this bill basically, it makes it so the governor doesn't have to go to the legislature, and it bypasses all checks and balances in the governor's emergency powers, so that if something is declared a natural disaster or any type of international disaster, They can bring in whoever they want, any type of NGOs, including foreign NGOs, and they can just bring them in. And the governor is the only person that has any say over any of them. And she can just do whatever she wants with them. And the NGOs can do whatever they want. Or other governments, she can bring in other governments from Canada, England, China, to do whatever they want. And what do you mean you're bringing in people from Canada to get involved in our stuff over here? Don't you know that the Chinese is all up, down, and through there, and China wants us all gone? Like, what are you talking about? This is very, very concerning because it basically turns international entities into private contractors. What are we doing here? And Republicans voted for this. So somebody's really going to have to make this make sense. Did they just sell you a sweet dream and you saw it and it was like, oh, well, this sounds good. Let's vote for it. Did somebody put some money in your pocket? Like, what the hell is going on here? Excuse my language. What the heavens is going on here? How could you vote for something like that? How could you vote for something like that? Even some of my favoriteest people over here. Okay. Very concerning. It's and then it was bipartisan, right? Like everybody voted on it. The assembly passed it 142 to 0. 142 to 0 to give her basically all the power that she wants to bring in international troops to kick you in your throat. Who's stupid? What are we doing? What are we doing? It's crazy. And the craziest thing is not only did it pass in the assembly 142 to 0, it passed in the Senate 53 to 1. 53 to 1. I'm gonna have to find out who the person is that voted against it so I can send them a letter. Thank you very much. You're the only one that's got any type of freaking sense. And then all of our local elected officials, Damon Meek, Senator Cooney, Senator Samara Brooke, Jen Lunsford, Sarah Clark, all of them. Look what I say. The whole assembly voted for it. Crazy. Even some of my friends in the Senate and assembly voted for it. I don't get it. Somebody gonna have to explain it to me. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna definitely make some phone calls tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow because it's election day. The day after, because this is crazy. What are we doing in our state? Then we got this whole nonsense that the governor is doing. Remember I told you that RG&E got fined for not having all of their stuff right? Well, they're calling it the they're taking to, what is it? Was it $1 billion? $1 billion in energy checks they're going to be mailing out right around the time for November election. So September, October, everybody's going to get checks so that you vote Democrat. That's what they want you to do. They're buying the election. Now they've got a $1 billion pot for this power checks program, and they're going to mail out $100 to $200 in so-called energy rebates to people. It's nonsense. The whole thing is nonsense. So it's nothing but a big bribe. It's despicable. It's despicable. So from focusing on here in New York State, let's go to DC for a minute. Let's talk about this ridiculous Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool, Washington. Well, it's between the two, right? Yeah. So the reflecting pool out there. So the Democrats are out here saying, oh, well, look at Trump. Trump's dumb. Look at it. It's already being put. All this algae is coming out of there and all of the lining is already coming up. Look it. Well, come to find out, people have been sabotaging this stuff since day one. So they've been sabotaging all of the work that's been going on. So I couldn't tell you if there was any faulty work because I see all these people sabotaging it. But the Democrats are like, oh, nobody's sabotaging it. But we got all these people arrested for sabotaging it. One guy cut out a whole chunk of the thing and got arrested for it. Like, what are we doing? Like, what are the Democrats thinking? Like, how can you talk like that? Oh, nobody's doing it. Clearly, these people got arrested for it. Clearly. One of the guys was was an Olympic swimmer or whatever the case was. And he was like, no, I wasn't doing that. Man, please, I don't believe you. Sounds like a lie. Okay. Then you got the people who poured the acid or whatever the case it was in the grass by that says 8647. Like, what are we doing? They're talking about to kill the president. They're putting it in the grass. Like, what are we doing? So the people did that before they sabotaged the reflecting pool. But if they'd sabotage that, you think they wouldn't sabotage a reflecting pool? Who's dumb? Who's stupid? Like, what are we doing here? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And this is inside our own country, the people inside our own country. What is going on? Now, thankfully, we got all these foreigners. Now, this is a rare sentence for me to put together in words. Thankfully, we've got all these foreigners that came to visit America, and they're all happy and loving America because of FIFA. Thank you all of you international tourists for coming to America. We appreciate you. Okay, if anybody that's watching out there, hit the like button, hit the share button. It don't cost you nothing. Help me get the message out there, okay? And definitely drop a comment. Be part of the conversation. So all of these international people have come to our country, and now they're experiencing the awesomeness that is America. They're experiencing Buc-ee's and Texas barbecue and Waffle House and all of these other things that Americans take for granted so often that we don't even think about. And they're like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. This is amazing. I saw one guy, he had a video, and he was just watching a sunset. And he was like, are all American sunsets like this? And I'm like, you don't have sunsets where you from? Okay, I see you commenting. Thank you. We were having some issues with the video earlier, and we didn't have any audio. So thank you for all the comments. Keep commenting, you guys, because I can't actually pop all the comments up, but I'll pop a couple up now because I don't want to have feedback in the microphone. So as we're having this conversation, we got all of these people coming over here that are all super happy about America. One guy's like, the freaking sunset is so beautiful. Is this how all of your sunsets are? The craziest thing about that, it's a normal sunset. He was just in some, I don't know, housing project. Looked like one of those general housing projects that they have in Georgia. I shouldn't say projects. I mean, more like the cul-de-sacs, the little communities. You know what I'm talking about. And it just was like a regular thing. They don't have sunsets where he's from. Like, what is going on? Like, but it just shows you how awesome America really is. And people don't know. And they take it for granted. And they don't care. And all you'll hear is them talk about how bad America is, how bad America is. But these people are coming over here to visit. And they're like, it's the most super awesomest thing in the whole wide world. I love it. And it's very serious. And we got to really start talking about how serious it is and how awesome our country is. But these people don't care. They'll tell you whatever, and they'll try to make it like, oh, it's the truth. But that's just the news. That's just these crazy people manipulating you. I won't be able to pop up more comments right now, but keep commenting, keep the comments coming in, keep them flowing in. I'll do another special episode or something later because of this. I won't forget you guys. So appreciate you a lot. Now, talking about all of this and the international visitors that we've had that have been so awesome, I'm glad that they got a chance to feel a slice of life from America, that they're so proud. Like, they're out here more patriotic than a lot of these crazy Americans are that are out here right now talking all this crazy gibberish nonsense evil against America. But this is where we are right now. They appreciate our country more than we do. All I'm saying is maybe we should lock the gates, because I don't want all of them trying to come in now. After the games, I don't want them to come in anymore. Okay. I'm happy that this is exporting American culture and everybody's happy and it's a real good look for us. Remember, they were being mad at Trump for doing this and actually saying, oh, well, we're going to host a FIFA. They're like, oh, you're going to host a FIFA. You're a bad man. Like, what? Like soccer? Like, you mad at soccer? Like, what's going on? Like this is the Trump haters, the Democrats and stuff like that. Like, I mean, that's a win for America, right? Like hosting FIFA. Then we're going to have all of these 250th anniversary things that are going on. And people are mad at that too. We got the great state fair. I mean, the great national fair that's going on right now in Washington, D.C. People are mad at that. The whole thing is crazy. Like, it's really crazy how bad people are with our country. Like, they really hate our country that much. Nothing that the president does is good, right? Everything that he does is bad. And that's a serious problem, and a serious problem with their thought processes, because they don't care. They don't care about America. They hate America. They just want to be mad. They hate themselves. That's why they're really mad. Ask me why they're really mad. Because they hate themselves. That's what the problem is. But that's too much of a conversation to really have, you know? But I mean, hey, let's talk about real things. Because when you start talking about real things, it starts hurting other people's feelings. And they don't like that. They do not like that at all. So when we have these important conversations, we need to understand that what's going on in our country itself is freaking awesome. Our country is awesome. These people that are in our country, they don't love our country. Why? Hit the like button, hit the share button, get it out there. It don't cost you nothing. Okay, I see you watching. Pop up your comments. I can pop up some of the comments now. I did it a little different. But let's talk about some stuff that's going on there globally. We've got a reshuffle of global governments going on, especially in South America, where we're shifting a lot more towards populist governments, conservative governments, and stuff like that. We just got a really strong victory, it looks like, in Colombia with the guy, what's his name? Oh man, this guy's name. I don't know this guy's name. Abelardo de la Espriella. I don't know that guy's name. I'm not even gonna try. That's a bad name. But the Colombian dude, you know, he's right wing. They said and stuff like that. So he's a right wing populist. So hopefully they get rid of socialism there. So it's a very important thing, and we need to focus on what's going on down there. We've even got Cuba, right? We've got Cuba bending the knee to the U.S. just a little bit, ever so slightly. Now they're like, oh, well, we're going to open up our country for more investment, you know, so you can invest in our country, but we're going to keep socialism. Really, are you? Because that right there sounds not like socialism. Like, what are you talking about? You know, like it's really, really, really crazy. And we need to talk about those things. And then you look into South Africa. South Africa's got all types of craziness going on because the people keep rioting. They're rioting. They're going after the different people that are in office because of everything that's happening in their country. Well, Marcus, what's going on in their country? Well, they've been facing issues with illegal aliens for years. A couple years ago, I don't remember exactly how long, but a couple years ago, they chased all the Indians out of their country. Not like feather, like red dot. You understand what I'm saying? The Indians from India. You got to ask yourself, why are Indians from India in such large numbers in South Africa that it was a problem for people that are from South Africa? But, you know, hey, that makes too much like sense. They don't want you talking about that. That's why it's not covered in the news. And it's something that's continuing. And it's a devolving situation that's going to get even more worse later on and coming up. So it's going to be really, really interesting. Really, really interesting. You know, and we need to actually start standing up. Somebody said, just like the Asians. Well, they've kicked a lot of people out of their country, right? So they're also kicking out all of the people out of their country that are from other African nations. So this is a really serious problem that they're facing down there. But if they talk about African countries with people that look like this, that are melanated, okay, kicking out illegal aliens and foreigners, you can't do that. You can't talk about that because that might encourage people here to do that. That's why you don't see it on the news. And we absolutely do need to do the same. That's something we assuredly need to do. Okay. So when we have these conversations, hit that share button, hit the like button. It don't cost you nothing to hit the like button. It don't cost you nothing to comment. Just say, hey, say hi, give them a wave. Okay. Appreciate you. Yep. Now, let's talk about some other stuff in Africa while we've got a little bit of time here. You know, in the Democratic Republic of Congo, and we've talked about them before, the Islamist group, the ADF, and their militants slaughtered 24 Christians and a local pastor in the beginning of the month. This comes on the tail of them killing a number of Catholic priests, and a whole bunch of other stuff is going on where they're killing off Christians in Africa. Can we talk about that? Are they doing anything about that? You know, you look at the Sudan, and they had the targeted assassination on June 19th, so this was just the other day, they targeted assassination of Father Yohanna Al-Amin. That's what they're doing, targeting assassinations of clergy. That's what's going on. Can we have that conversation? Can we talk about that? Is anything being done about that? No. But Christians over here like, oh, Israel, oh, the Muslims, we got to help everybody, help Israel, help the Muslims, say, be nice, hug everybody, do all of this, all of that. What about the Christians? You call yourself Christian. What about all the other Christians? You going to help all the Christians? You going to do something about the Christians? You going to save the Christians? Talk to me about an Israel or a Muslim. Get the hell out my face. I don't want to hear none of that. I want to hear about you talking about you Christian, and go talk about saving the Christians. How about that? How about help your own people first? I feel that way the same way I feel about America. Stop telling me about these illegal aliens and these foreigners. Help the Americans first. Them foreigners got to go. Not a priority, not even a little bit. But I mean, hey, that might be too much like right, you know, and this is what happens when people don't think towards the future, right? We got to think towards the future. Where are we going in the future? So let's talk about Elon Musk and his continuing expanding empire, which includes SpaceX, which just hit a multi-trillion-dollar IPO, $2.1 trillion in market cap. Crazy. One of the biggest IPOs ever in the history of the world. It might actually be the biggest one right now. And it officially makes Elon Musk on paper a trillionaire. He's a trillionaire, the world's first trillionaire. It's amazing. So right after he did that, what did he do? He bought Cursor. Now they had a development relationship that they were working on, but with SpaceX, remember, SpaceX isn't just SpaceX. SpaceX is SpaceX AI, okay? And XAI is Grok, right? So now they've acquired Cursor, which is like this programming tool for AI. Well, it is its own AI, but it's like a programming thing for it, right? So he sold some of the stock or used the stock options to buy out Cursor. So now they completely own it, and they're going to completely integrate it into Grok. So that is going to be like a wow thing when it starts to actually work. That's going to make Grok way more competitive with other things like ChatGPT and their thing. What is their thing called? Codex and Gemini. I don't know if Gemini has a special spinoff for their name, but Gemini has their own coding thing also. So that's going to be a very interesting thing. But another thing that he's doing is he's got $119 billion terafab factory where they're building all types of chips, okay? All types of chips. Now, remember, we get all our chips from Taiwan right now. There are some companies like Intel and NVIDIA that are coming over here talking about they're going to build chips over here. They're starting to build plants down in places like Arizona and New Mexico and places like that. But they're working on bringing it over here. But the terafab facility is huge, huge, okay? So in order to do what they need to do to get enough compute power, they're going to start building their own. So Elon Musk is going to build his own computer chips. You might have one in your phone coming soon or in your computer. Definitely they're going to be in all your robots. So wake up, pay attention. And I guarantee you, not too far from now, they're going to actually end up acquiring Tesla as well. Because remember, Tesla's got the robots. Tesla's is the robots. This is the programming for the robots and for everything else. People have always looked at Tesla like, oh, it's just a car manufacturer. It's never been about a car manufacturer. It's been about energy storage company. That's what it's always been about. Perfecting energy storage and driverless autonomy, which is really nothing more than computer learning and machine learning. So that's something that's very, very important to note. And a lot of people don't put them things together. So now he's building all of these chips, and these people are putting these pushbacks against all of these data centers and stuff like that. So he says, well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to put the data centers in outer space. We're going to put the data centers in outer space. And I was watching presentation he was doing on the data centers in outer space, because if you hear data center in outer space, that just sounds crazy. But also architecturally and structurally, scientific math on paper, that's infeasible as of right now. But when you got all the AI power in the world, it might not be infeasible now. You know, when you've got the rocket ships that keep going up and going down, it's not very infeasible now. They can figure it out. They're also cranking out more ships from the, what is it called? The Gigafactory? I believe it. I don't know if it's the Gigafactory. It's called something else, I think, for their spaceship terminal, where they're going to be producing 1,000 spaceships a year. Like, what are we doing with 1,000 spaceships a year? Not even 1,000 spaceships, you guys. Not even 1,000 spaceships. Like the super heavy rockets, like, you know, the Falcon super heavy and all of that stuff. Like, they're doing the galactic cruiser version of the spaceship that they're talking about. They're going to be outputting 1,000 of them a year. I don't even know material wise how that's possible, bro. 1,000 a year. How many of that is it a day? We only got 365 days in a year. That's more than 3 rocket ships a day. Like, wow. Like, I'm fathoming that is not very fathomable to me. Like, I mean, I'm sure they'll start out at like 100 or something. In the next year, they'll probably be up to 100. But after that, it's just going to be exponential growth, exponential growth, exponential growth, because they'll have modified all of the machines and everything, and they've got all of the compute power that they could possibly need to figure out how to make it work. So it's crazy what we're going to see coming down the line from Elon Musk real soon, real soon. Then we've got the Tesla taxi that's coming out. They've been seeing the Tesla taxi out in different places in Arizona and Texas now. And that's something that's real serious, because that's going to put all of the Uber drivers and all the taxi drivers and everybody else out of business. You know, but the more serious concern that people should have is with those fully autonomous vehicles means that the government is going to be able to stop you, control you, where you can go, whatever you can do. Kind of like, what was that guy's name? What's his name? The turtle guy. What's his name? Looked like a turtle. He's in the Senate. What's his name? Drop his name in the comment. Mitch McConnell. That's his name. Like Mitch McConnell's sister-in-law, how her Tesla just somehow magically reversed and drowned her in a pond. If you don't believe me, go look it up, bro. Like, weird, crazy stuff has been going on for years. I'm not saying that it was Elon Musk that did it, and I don't think it was him. I'm pretty sure it was China. But it's something that's really needs to be talked about. So we got a lot of stuff that's going on and coming up really quick. So we really need to be paying attention to everything. And it's so hard because if you look at it, a lot of things are not covered, are not talked about. And there's like 5 or 6 other bills that I would have liked to talk to you about today, but we just don't have enough time. So please, if you can reach out to the show on RochesterFreeRadio.com. You can donate to the station to sponsor the show, or if you're online, you can hit either side right here of your screen. You can do either one of those, or you can do down below, do Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Cash App is $MW Real, the number 1. That's the digit 1. Or you can do PayPal, and that's at Marcus C. Williams. And that's also the same thing for Venmo. So you can do either one of those. Drop whatever you can. $10, $25, $1,000, whatever you got. Everything's helpful. Every like, every share, every subscribe. All of it's important. All of it's helpful. So make sure that you get the message out there. Drop some comments in the comments. Drop some shares. I'm going to have to cut this video later on, I guess, because apparently only half of it was recording half the time. But we'll catch up with you guys, and we'll do some more shows this week. So do stay tuned. You guys on the radio, thank you for tuning in. You've tuned into The Divide with Marcus C. Williams. We are here in your ear on WRFZ 106.3 Rochester Free Radio. Tune in every Monday, 2:30 to 4 p.m. So to my friends and family online, listen, my encouragement to you right now is sign up to be an election inspector. Please sign up to be an election inspector. November's coming up really fast, and I know a lot of people are not comfortable with the way elections are done, so we need eyes on the inside. Get active. They'll pay you. It's a long day, but people need to do it, especially conservatives, Republicans, and independents. Because if we're not out there doing it, nobody else is gonna. It means just the people that want the things that we don't want are gonna be in charge of all of that. And that's not what we want, guys. That's not the direction we want to go in. We know better. We can't let the proverbial enemy run the show, you know? And I don't see them as a direct enemy, but the fact of the matter is they are really the opposition, you know? Even in the party where there is some strength that might have some values or vision or anything like that that we might agree with, they don't even speak up. So what are we doing? What are we doing? That's why we got to get on the ground. We got to get active. Go sign up to be a person at the Board of Elections. That's my message to you. And I'll catch you later on the radio, you guys. Be blessed and be well. Remember, stand up, speak up, and don't shut up. Take action. So online, you guys, we had a little bit of issue earlier, so I need you to hit that like, subscribe, and drop some comments because half of the video, apparently, we didn't have any sound. We fixed that. So we'll do a couple of other episodes. We're going to work on getting done this week. But you guys, we are the last line of sanity. So you got to share this. You got to get the message out there. Y'all be blessed and be well. I'll catch you guys later. Remember, stand up, speak up, and don't shut up. Take action.